And yeah, so this first trade was on the start in January on the 10th, and I found in EURUSD most trades happen to occur on a Friday, especially on the afternoon. But this one, obviously, I think was a valid trade in my opinion. Good liquidity, breaking structure. However, as you can see, I think, well, obviously, news made it win. And IRL, I don't think we would have taken that knowing news is so close. I mean, that was at 9 o'clock, the entry, and news happened at 1:30. So, yeah, I think for this one, I skipped it and didn't include that in the results. But yeah, as you move on, EU is like, yeah, very volatile. You can see it has these huge movements that just honestly makes it a bit more difficult to trade. This here was, I think, a valid trade, but it happened before the hours of our session at 5:30 in the morning. I mean, what do you guys think about this structure here? Because obviously we got the swap hours and stuff, weekend hours. Beamy, do you have any thoughts?
Um, I think that looks valid to me. That looks fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like would that be a wick out in that scenario?
Yeah, weird.
That was wicked out.
Which I find in EURUSD happens a lot. So it's very volatile and you get all these wicks, which is quite annoying, but it is what
Yeah.
it is.
Was that swap hours though?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay.
But again, Mango did take a trade which included those, so, you know, it is what it is. Don't have much going on. Now, this trade here, again, is one that was impacted by news. Happened on Friday at 9 o'clock. And also, I didn't really like this structure. I can't... Actually, no, I think it was valid. But yeah, this one I decided not to take because, as you can see, we had this huge news candle at 1:30, and I mean, it obviously did go to hit some sort of RR. I don't know if it would have wicked you out first, but again, this is a trade I just skipped and avoided because I do not really want to be trading during news. It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
And the things of EU, there's a lot of news, which means a lot of trades are invalidated. This one here, I was actually a bit on the fence about because it's like a V shape, and I don't really like trades which form that shape. But we do have strong liquidity, and as you can see here, we have a pretty clear breaker structure. And it breaks below this low, so I was willing to take that risk in this trade and continue selling because, you know, we're a bit bearish. Unfortunately, price did not respect the supply zone and it just went up. So that was the first loss I think we had. Yeah, there was this setup here again, which was really nice and really clean. As you can see, we have really nice liquidity here and a very clear breaker structure. But I think for me, I again avoided this trade because there was a news later and it's a 30-minute time frame. Could I have taken this trade? Potentially.
Yeah. Right. I think
I think it's a valid
yeah.
trade.
The news again. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, if there wasn't news, I would have definitely taken this. This is a nice trade. And we would have waited, I think, for the flip, I guess. So yeah, entered there. But I mean, this trade happened. The entry was given at around 1:30, and there was news later at 6:30. So I don't know. How long do you think you guys would wait? If
I
there's
think
news in the day.
I would take that just because it's a few hours ahead, and I would
Yeah,
take the trade. I'll just probably go break even. So for me, that would be a break even trade probably, or maybe a 1 to 3,
yeah,
dependent
that's fair
on.
enough. Anyone else? What do you guys think about news in this situation where there's news later in the day?
I think it's a bit like unfortunate. I don't know if I would take this actually.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm very iffy on news. Like if I know it's coming up soon, I usually, yeah, I wouldn't like take it.
yeah.
when
I'm
that's
like,
on.
I'm quite cautious. But to be fair, if you aim for 1 to 3 minimum on 30-minute, you would have lost anyway. So I'll hit break even. So yeah, I don't think that one I would have ended up taking just because I'm a bit cautious. But to be fair, we can go back on the news and see if there's enough time before you may be able to get some sort of profit.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it's just really like, important with the news that when you're looking back through other people's backtesting or your own backtesting is that you aren't including trades which especially have news candles maybe 2 or 3 candles in or something, or
Yeah.
the entry candle, because you just can't, even if it wins, you can't really count that, because you know that in real markets you wouldn't take trades with news. So sometimes it can skew your results a bit much. But like this one
Exactly.
here, for example, like, you just have to skip this. Even if it wins, you can say, oh, it wins, but realistically, it's not going to help your trading at all. Because we all know we shouldn't be trading around news.
Yeah, exactly. Like you just have to be real because it's so easy to include. Like you can just be like, oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
nice, good trade, but it can literally half the time just go the other way and just make you lose, and it's not worth it in real life because you're just trying to learn from yourself, not cheat. This setup here, I wasn't actually a fan of, which to be fair was actually quite nice because he got wicked out again. But I don't know what am I doing. In this one, I just didn't really like the structure because we had this liquidity here, but this kind of consolidation here and the way it just returns to the zone. I don't know. I didn't really like it as well because you had this huge
Yeah.
news candle here.
Yeah,
And
exactly. And also,
yeah,
like, you have that bigger balances to fill, which it does. Like, it does next. It fills all the imbalances to the left there.
it's fair
Yeah,
value.
like
Yeah,
that huge imbalance. If you see that above your zone, then you have to be a bit careful taking
yeah,
trades like that, because
yeah,
price
exactly.
actually wants to just come up and fill it instead.
Like for me, I personally really like trading when we're trending. The market's trending. Like we've got
Yeah,
a nice clear price movement. Bearish price movement. This here is just
it's not
two
nice.
news, two lines, and these
Mm.
supply zones are just not going to be as quality because like it's not a trending market. This is not. Yeah, but yeah, I don't.
Same thing happened on EEJ last week when we were testing it. When you get high up, and you have an imbalance that you have a huge imbalance, and then your zone.
Yeah, yeah,
If
yeah,
your
yeah.
imbalance is below the zone, most of the times the trades lose. So you've got to be
Exactly.
pretty careful. You want to just, even here, like, you got a big imbalance and then a
Yeah,
zone there.
this is
It's just
very like
quite.
quick, so
You
probably
just got to be a bit. Yeah.
exactly. And yeah, as you can see, we just get a lot of these like wicks, like a lot of this news. It's just not very nice. This one here, I would have entered, I believe, but again, I think the return to the zone was because of a news candle. This candle here. I mean, well, should we check? I think you can go on replay, and then turn it down to the 1 minute.
Yeah, you're right. There is news. You can see it. You can see US news.
Where, yeah, I mean, look at the
It
volume
was
there.
there. No, can you see the US
Oh, right here, yeah.
icon? That one. It's news.
This one here I was quite wary of taking because yeah, as I said, I just didn't really like this candle because I thought it's news. It's just quite unclear when you're trading, especially with EURUSD. You have these huge like volume candles like here, and it's quite hard to tell whether they're news or just a natural price action. But this one I actually
Yeah.
didn't enter. Hopefully if I replay it won't go back. So this one here I thought was valid, this zone right here. We have liquidity,
That's pretty nice.
a nice amount of liquidity here. It isn't broken until we return back to the zone. We have this breaker structure, which is quite nice. And we are actually in bearish price action as well. There is a gap, obviously, but we have enough price action to make it worth the zone. And this one here, you just get wicked out. It's quite unfortunate. Price did actually go our way in the end, hitting what, a 1 to 4. But yeah, this was another loss. Got wicked out, and yeah, this is pretty unfortunate. I can't lie. This happens. I mean, anyone here got any thoughts about the sub? Whether they have missed it potentially or skipped it?
I mean, it's good. It's a good setup.
Mhm.
Maybe the
Oh,
liquidity is a bit too far, but it's fine.
Yeah, that is a good point. I think I skipped some serves as well because liquidity is just a bit too far. But that one I thought was valid. And yeah, this one here I decided not to take. So it was just price didn't
Yeah,
close
those
above.
eyes are horrible.
I always look for price to close like fully above the previous high. Like it can't just wick over because it doesn't really count. It could just be like a liquidity sweep or whatever.
Yeah.
Wasn't really a fan of it. And that's good. I left it and it hit stop loss, which is nice to see. This trade here I thought was quite nice, but one thing I had against this trade is that the stop loss is quite large, so you have to get a big price movement to get only a 1 to 3. But I think it's valid. Got strong liquidity, breaker structure, returns the zone quite nicely, and yeah, bearish close. What do you guys think about this one? Do you think it's pretty valid or not?
Yeah, I'll take that.
That's valid, bro. Yeah.
Valid.
And where would you aim? Because obviously 1 to 3 here.
I
That's
think
like minimum.
those lows on the left there. You see,
Yeah.
like, those Yeah, there. You see
Probably
like
one
those
to three,
double
one to
lows.
four. One to
Yeah,
three
it's
is what
basically a
five.
1 to 3 anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. And this one here formed quite a nice setup, but it didn't actually tap and it just broke through. Yes, we had this setup here as well,
A setup, I'd agree.
which is actually really nice, but happened on Friday at 7 o'clock, which I just wouldn't take.
Yeah.
Because you've obviously got the weekend. And Friday session, I did avoid all trades holding over the weekend, because I think that's something you can actually just go back and see for yourself if it works or not, but for me it's quite risky. The setup itself here is really nice. I mean, that's amazing, really nice setup, and it broke through the supply zone as well. But as you can see, if you did enter and wanted to hold through the weekend, you would have got wicked out instantly. But you know, that is a nice trade in my opinion. This one here was invalidated. This one here is valid, I believe, but it was on Tuesday at 11:30, and I don't think that would have even hit a 1 to 3. No, exactly. That's a problem. When the stop loss is quite large, you have to you need a bigger price movement to get a smaller RR, which is like obviously a bit more risky. So that's why I always prefer setups which have a nice smaller entry. Anything else? This one here, I decided to enter. Now there is this wick, which I guess is a bit interesting, but initially we do have nice liquidity and we do have a breaking structure here. But again, this is I'm not sure. I mean, what would you guys rate this setup? For me,
B plus.
yeah, B plus. I wouldn't say A for this one. However, there is really nice liquidity. But again, as we can see here, which just does happen in 30-minute setups and wins when it wicks down, but that could be a factor. When we have liquidity taken here, then it goes down and then enters. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think about this?
Nah,
You guys
I
do that.
personally took that, to be honest.
Say that again?
I wouldn't have took that trade, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair enough. It isn't, yeah.
It's already swept the liquidity in. It's had the tiny little move.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that is valid, to be fair. That is a valid reason, 100%.
I think it would be borderline for me.
Yes.
But no,
Yeah.
if I'd take that or not in live markets.
If I was
I
looking
just-
for A plus setups, I don't think I would take that. But I did take it, to be fair, so.
I didn't like it. Didn't have like a 2 candle liquidity, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, only one candle which gets swept. I don't know, yeah.
Yeah, we did have this gap to fill, which it did come down, fill, and then go up. See, a lot more movements. There's all these movements. It's just pretty volatile. This one here was at 1:30 in the morning, and I wouldn't have taken that anyway, to be honest. Same with this one. I didn't really like this setup because honestly,
Yeah,
I
it's
just
not good
didn't really
liquidity.
like it. In my opinion, I just didn't think it was valid. And you could have entered on the flip, but you probably would have lost. And yeah, this SL was hit, which is nice to see when you leave a trade and it hits SL. This one here didn't tap. This one here did tap and got a movement, but I wouldn't have entered on that. I just don't like it at all. It's not very nice. Incredibly poor, like, structure, I guess, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Again, another late Friday trade. This one happened at 7:30 on Friday afternoon. Really nice structure. Closed above these two highs, which is really nice. And liquidity is there until it comes back to the zone. Could have got a nice RR, but obviously it's late Friday again. So yeah, I skipped that one. And I didn't enter on this one because the entry was just really poor. Like, we only really get like 1 to 3. You have to aim up here. Now, I don't actually think I entered on this one, but I drew out that thingy anyway. What do you guys think about this trade? Because in my opinion, liquidity is quite low, and just the structure is just a
I
bit
don't
bullish.
think even I would take this one actually.
Yeah, I wouldn't take this one either, I don't think. Just quite bearish down to the zone. Also, when it comes back to the liquidity, you have like the consolidation before going down. I just don't
Yeah.
like to see that.
Yeah.
And like quite poor for me.
When I see because often trades don't just go down, up, down, and straight back to zone. They sometimes have more price action here. And when I see price action go above list liquidity, it forms this bullish market structure to the zone, I guess. So I don't really like it. But in this case, it did win, which is fair enough. And you could have absolutely got a 1 to 6.5 at least. I mean, J-Trade's effects, what do you think about this trade?
Nah, the liquidity is way too far for me. And like you said, that consolidation there before the zone tap, there's no clear direction. There's no
that's why
straight melt to zone.
For me, liquidity is probably just about okay. It's just that consolidation I hate.
It's just this market structure here. I'm not a fan of personally. But again, it did win, which is fair enough. But I skipped that one. I didn't count it. This up here, was again on Friday at 6:30, which was quite late, and I don't think I would have taken that. And it did lose. You would have got stopped out, but price did end up going in the original direction. But I mean, I think that's a valid setup. You do have liquidity, you do have a breaker structure, but again, you can see, yeah, I don't know. But again, I skipped it because it was late in the day. This trade here, yeah, again, that isn't in the time frame. It's 11 p.m. on Sunday, which I don't think anyone would be trading. And you would have got wicked out again if you entered. But that is valid. Potentially, it doesn't actually close below that, but that is a pretty nice structure in my opinion. Oh, Jesus Christ. Now this one I was on the fence about. I don't think I would have taken this IRL, but you can see there is a breaker structure and liquidity, and there is this liquidity here. But honestly, I don't think I would have taken this. I didn't mark it out because I thought you maybe could have got a small RR, but obviously not. That's the problem. I had a large stop loss, so you have to expect price to go all the way up here for just a 1 to 3. But honestly, this is what I wanted to ask you. What do you guys think of this setup with liquidity like this, which isn't very strong?
I think you see an initial fake out at that second bit of liquidity, which is, but for me, it's a difficult one because zoom out a little bit. Yeah, I'd skip that probably.
Yeah, I mean, oh my god. Anyone
I
else
think
got any?
I just don't. Yeah, for me, it's just the liquidity is not really that strong. It's like in that like sort of diagonal straight shape. I'd rather see a major low get created,
Yeah, same.
and then for a breaker structure, like there's no real breaker structure in that setup for
It's
me.
like one of the
And
V shapes,
Yeah.
but upside down, you know. I mean, yeah, anyone else got any ideas? It does have the normal supply and demand structure actually in it,
It's
which
just
I
a
didn't
large
notice.
stop. The large stop is such an off put.
Yeah, for real. Like, if this trade closed, you know, this candle came further down, then we got an entry down here, it would be worth the risk, because instead of aiming for just a 1, instead of waiting for price to, you know, come all the way up here for just a 1 to 3, it would have been more sensible and then maybe get a bigger RR. But yeah, as you can see, the stop loss is really big, and it just doesn't really warrant. Like, you just have to expect price to move further for those smaller RRs when you have these big stop losses. Just isn't really optimal. And as you can see, you know, if it was a better entry, you would have got a nice RR here, especially if you aimed at this like kind of area here. But unfortunately, it just wouldn't have hit and you would have got stopped out. But yeah, in my opinion, if I was trading like a funded account, I'd probably, I'd not enter on this one. I'd probably get a more nicer setup, which I think looks nicer. This one here is,
that for me is okay.
nah, we do
Further.
have a,
We do react with a supply demand, so
exactly.
yeah.
So this one here is reacting off a demand, but as you can see, it did end up winning. These are just difficult because we know the strategy works, so we know that price does react to these zones, but in case of the actual setup, I think it's a really nice setup because we have liquidity, 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 oh, that's quite far. Breaker structure here. I mean, and it returns to zone quite nicely, and this liquidity doesn't break here. So honestly, I think that is quite a nice setup, and it's just a question of
It looks
this
good.
demand zone. What do you guys think
What do you
about
guys do? I'm interested, to
Yeah.
see what you guys are thinking about. Do you enter when we wick off an area of demand like this, or are you not that bothered about it?
I would enter actually. I think.
You would enter. And you would enter.
Yeah.
What about you, Josh and Drip and other people, Donny?
Yeah, I'd check that. To me
You'd take that?
personally, reacting off like that demand there, it just knocks the quality a bit.
Yeah.
The setup's still valid.
Yeah, true.
It just
I
knocks
mean,
the quality.
yeah, I think I would take it as well because like I said, with the liquidity, I like the constant like taking out the lows and stuff like that and building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
maybe
everyone would enter this.
if this demand
But I
was
mean,
more
I would
like,
be a little iffy though, yeah, about because I don't like when it reacts off of two, like
Yeah,
reacts
it
off
is-
of
it is
demand and
difficult,
then
yeah.
react, yeah.
maybe if
Especially
this
the
was
fact that
an
that
actual
demand was
setup.
at a major low as well. For me, that may, if it was just if it reacts off a demand on a straight line, then I wouldn't might have mind as much. But maybe because it's reacting off like a major demand, it's just that low there. That could be more indication that we're going to go higher.
Yeah.
But I think I'd still take it. It's probably just knock it down to like an A minus maybe.
Yeah,
Or
I
B
mean,
plus.
honestly, this is something we all need
Yeah,
to
for
look
B
at in
plus, I would say.
backtesting. Like, anytime you just take a trade, see if it's reacting off one of these zones, and if it wins, then it wins, and if it loses, then we can, get a good overall picture. Because this is quite important. This does happen quite a lot in actual markets.
It's like you're basically both zones are kind of fighting each other at that point,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. Now, what we do have, however, this demand here is not respected, which could be beneficial, I
Time right
guess.
there.
But, yeah. And then there was this trade as well. I think I kind of got wicked out. I mean, what the fuck is this news? But anyway, this one here, for me, it had liquidity, break structure, goes down to these lows. Now, you can see, however, it doesn't actually break these lows. But for me, the structure of the setup and the entry was worth it to aim for 1 to 4 just down here. Unfortunately, I did get wicked out. This is another one of these trades, like, you can decide to enter or not just based on the surrounding price action. What do you guys think about this trade here?
Again, I'm on the fence about this one because of those lows, and we only have sort of one candle liquidity. So I would probably skip this.
Yeah.
If we had better liquidity, then I would probably take it. But that reaction 3 times off that area or at the lows there is telling me that. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that one. I think I'd skip that.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah, it's the same thing actually.
Maybe I would enter on the retest. After the first entry, you got wicked out,
Yeah.
and after that,
I mean,
I
yeah,
know
to
you-
be fair,
0.5 risk.
you could definitely.
Re-enter, yeah, it's a
unfortunate.
valid re-entry. Anything's a valid re-entry if it doesn't close in the zone. So yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess. But for me, I didn't personally like taking re-entries because with these zones are made up of like sitting orders of institutions that haven't been filled yet. And if price comes and reaches zones and reacts, and then comes back to test it and reacts, it's already taken up some of the orders here, so the momentum of the zone on the retest may not be as good. But to be fair, in this case, it did win, and you could have got 1 to 4, or aim for the lows. You could have definitely got a nice RR on this trade. But yeah, for me, did not go wicked out. That's unfortunate. But it is interesting to see it, especially when you have setups that are so close to these key levels, if they win or not. And often I think they can actually win.
Yeah, they definitely can still win.
But it is something
Yeah,
to
and
keep
like a
in
lot of
mind.
the time, key areas are just random reactions. They don't actually mean anything at all.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
like, you want to be careful with using key areas because most of the time they're complete like just random reactions in price. They have no meaning at all.
Yeah. Now this
so,
one,
yeah.
I don't. I think if I was, well, this one here. Let me explain. It's got liquidity, a breaker structure. It has this high, But however, it reacts off this area here, and it's got a lot of consolidation around the top and this area. This can add more liquidity, to be fair, and it comes down to the zone that has a good entry, but it did lose as well. But for me, that structure technically is valid. It's just more the consolidation that made me a bit
again,
wary
it's
of
that
this trade.
consolidation. I don't like that. Yeah,
Especially up here, it just, I don't know, this area here, you have these just like barcode, and it's just quite not the best, I guess. However, it does be that high, it does break out, and if you look, we are on a trend, an uptrend here. So I honestly do think that trade did have potential to win, and it did react, but not react far enough. And then we had news, and then we just got fucked. But what do you guys think of this setup here? Do you think this is valid or not?
I think it is actually for me. Yeah, I would like what you said at the top. It's like a bit consolidating. Yeah, that's a bit of a turn off, but I like the liquidity. You know,
Yeah.
because it's 3 candles. Yeah, it
this literally,
consolidated a bit.
if price is acting like
Yeah.
this, it would just be fake outs, and more people would just enter here, you know, and just enter,
Yeah.
put their stop losses under there. And
That's why, yeah.
what we see in a lot of trades is that price actually comes down a bit and then retraces, and that will wipe out all the liquidity here. So, but yeah, in this trade it doesn't. It stays above this line. Anyone else? Anyone else? Go on.
Would anyone else enter on this or not?
It kind of does. Can you hear me? What up?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, we can.
It does kind of look like the triple top. So, like that's just one thing. But I do like the FPG in front of the zone.
Yeah.
FPG is nice.
I mean, honestly, I think I may have taken this in the markets just because
I think this is what I would call an RD setup because
yeah.
Because like it's technically valid. It is a bit more lower quality, but it's a great place to enter the market in terms of buys, which I think like a lot of people say to me, oh, RD takes some weird setups, which he does. But like if you look at that price action up to the zone, like you can just see how beautiful that is. You know, you can just see there price looks like we're going to continue higher. So I'd call that an RD setup.
Fair enough. And yeah, price does react. And to be fair, technically you could say that news may be one of the reasons why it lost, as before news you do often have different price action, but that was Monday 5:30, Tuesday 8:30 in the morning. You're gonna be waking up to a stop loss, can't lie. I don't know, I think that's valid, and I think I may have probably taken that, but I do see trades like that win, but obviously trades lose as well. This trade here, very, let's just say no, come on, it's like a downtrend to the zone, so much consolidation.
It's just like that's C minus really.
Yeah, it does win. You get like a RR, but the entries.
Like there's so many things wrong about that. We don't even need to go through.
Exactly. There's no need. This trade here as well, I just wouldn't have entered. The liquidity's too far. I just don't really like it. I mean, and also you just have a big stop loss. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I'm never really a fan of EU, and I've removed it from my pairs list. Perfect. It's just because of, like, yeah, the moves you can't really get big RRs on EU because of how big the candles are.
yeah, that's so true. And like, it's so volatile, bro. Like, look at this volume. Look at the bottom. Look at all these like random spikes. Like, it's because it's literally the most. I think it's the most traded currency pair in the world.
Yeah, it is. And
So,
it also has no spreads.
Yeah, exactly. So you just have ridiculous liquidity, and you have all these institutions placing massive orders all the time. Like these banks wanting to pay, I don't know, Bank of America wanted to pay their Europe like staff, like their like salaries, whatever. They do huge transactions. And
Yeah, unfortunately, it's the pair affected most by news as well.
yeah, 100%.
So, you know, if you trading a pair like GN or Chef JPY, it's very rare that you're actually going to get much news affect you. Unfortunately, with EU, is when you trade it, you're always at the
I mean,
you always got to be careful
crazy
with EU
movements.
because of the amount of news that happens.
This one here, I did decide to enter. Yeah,
Yeah, you got 2 candle liquidity. That's all right.
could have got a better breaker structure, but honesty, that just seems like a B+ setup to me. Maybe A-, to be fair. I think that's
It's probably A- for me.
I think that's a valid setup. And yeah, just lost, unfortunately. Goes down to retest the zone underneath. If you got the re-entry there, you would have lost as well. And yeah, unfortunately, that is just an unfortunate trade. But that was on Friday as well. As you can see, all these trades are happening on Friday, which is just not good anyway. This trade here, also I entered because I thought that was a really nice supply zone. As you can see, we have liquidity, strong liquidity, and a very nice breaker structure. And we have another breaker structure here. So, you know, all this liquidity is being formed. Nice. Fortunately, again, it has a large stop loss, which just makes it really unfortunate because you're aiming for the price to go past this low here further for just a 1 to 3, which just isn't optimal.
And it has to go past that other low there, which
exactly.
is kind of...
So you're literally, and it has to. There's a demand zone over here as well, which price is reacting off. Actually, I don't know, but like it's just not really worth the risk as such, especially like on EU. Like you want to be getting high RRs really. And if the entry was down there, yeah, 1 to 5, that's calm. But a 1 to 3, expected price to go all the way down there. I don't know. But this trade I did take it because we were in a downtrend. We had a retracement and yeah, valid setup. I mean, would you guys have taken this in live markets, do you think?
Yeah, I would take this, bro. It looks good.
Yeah, I'll take this as well. To be fair to, being honest to myself, I'll take this.
Yeah.
It's pretty decent. Yeah, everyone would take it. So
I mean, yeah. I think maybe in live markets, I don't know, maybe I would avoid it because the SL is just too big. But, we got to draw out and see what happens anyway. Right, this trade was actually interesting. I was kind of on the fence with this one again because we had this huge movement. And I can't lie, IRL, I don't think I'd be trading. Actually, it's the morning after, so I guess. But yeah, we had this
can you go to the higher time frame?
I can, but then it may teleport.
Oh yeah, shit. No, actually, don't bother.
So this one here, we did have a little breakage structure. This is kind of a pretty poor setup for me, but I wanted to see if it won anyway, and clearly didn't. I mean,
does that low react off any demands? The low before the zone? Okay, that's interesting.
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't look
However,
like
I don't
no,
think this is news.
No, it's not as news.
I just don't know. It's just EU with these huge movements.
And I think that's New York Open, maybe.
Yeah.
What time?
11:30. No. But yeah, the reason I did enter this trade is because for once we actually got a valid entry, and although I was like the setup's pretty like average, and there's this huge gap which we have kind of filled, but there is space to fill more. The fact that the entry was so low was meant that I could risk and get a nice high RR, which is something that most of these trades haven't actually provided because they had such a large stop loss. So I decided I would rather risk 1% to get potentially a 1 to 5 or 1 to 7. And even though the setup prior conditions potentially weren't as good. But
yeah,
guys,
I mean, someone
what
asks, would this be a supply setup because it's a downtrend? And
Yeah,
we are
exactly.
pretty much it's technically a demand because demand is buys and supplies are sells, but you could say we're in a downtrend. That's probably why I'd skip this as well, just because it looks like for me market structure's too bearish.
For me, I thought that I know this news. I believe we could maybe fill it a bit further, but clearly we didn't, and instead wanted to go down. Is that something you could have avoided? Yes, absolutely, just because of like the price action before and after. But I wanted to risk that 1% to get a nice RR because I think that's worth it for me. Anyone got any thoughts on this one? Anyone else?
Too poor for me, to be honest.
Huh?
Too poor of a setup for me.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Ollie, what are you saying?
What are you saying, bro? Oh, about the setup?
Yeah.
Looks decent, I guess. Well, the actual setup looks alright.
Yeah.
I think the big issue for me is the fact that when we come down to the liquidity, it sweeps it and then fails to make any high.
Yeah.
If it broke the high to its left.
Yeah, if it broke that high after sweeping it, I would take it.
Yeah, I was
just
gonna
matched
say,
it, so I mean,
I think I've kind of started to notice because, as I said, most setups don't just go like this. quite a lot of them do this as well. They go up, form liquidity, but then they do something like after, like they do another like little high before coming down to the zone, like a retracement.
What does that look like right there? Head and shoulders pattern.
Head and shoulders.
I'm joking.
And like, to be fair, in this situation, liquidity is still there. You could technically say it's stronger because we have a second wick here and there's liquidity underneath, but
Yeah, but it didn't break its high. Though.
exactly.
So,
That was
Break
the
the
issue.
high.
If it broke the high, then I'd take it. So because it fails, it sweeps all of the
Also-
orders, so there's no orders left there, and then we don't make any high. So now it's actually that the supply has taken over, and we're now looking for sells.
Yeah,
For me, anyway.
yeah.
That was
ultimately,
Anyway,
yeah.
we're at
Close to
why
the-
not? I know we're not.
We want to see something like this, really. Whenever we see something which isn't one of these structures, not as good in my opinion, 100%. This one here, invalid, although, yeah. But again, this one here didn't break the high. What do you guys, if
Were you
this
gonna
was
say,
valid,
Johnny?
would you have taken this?
I think you were saying something.
No.
No, I was just testing if you guys can hear me.
Yeah, we can. I think you're just quite quiet, but
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
we can maybe turn you up.
Oh, this one here as well, it's unfortunate, it was invalid. But that's quite a nice setup in my opinion.
Kind of reacting off of demand, though, I think, to this left.
Yes, we are. That's a good point.
So, I mean,
And in this
still
case,
watch out for them stuff.
yeah, well, there was a trade earlier. I don't know if you were here, which reacted off of demand straight to the supply, and then the supply just won. But I guess in this case,
Yeah,
there
it
was
does
too much
happen.
buying pressure,
It does happen, but
Yeah, Ollie, we're going through EU, by the way.
and it's invalid.
This is the results for 2020. Is it 2025 something? Yeah, 2025.
was this the 30-minute?
Awful. Yeah.
How's the
30.
percentage looking?
Terrible.
Oh, it's super
I know
dry.
about
That's
5
it.
people.
That's it.
Yeah, it's been EU this year has nearly been as bad as UK 100. The ones that do well for our strategy seem to be the ones like Chef and
Yeah.
the JPY pairs, and ironically, they're the ones that move less and they do better for us. You know, you sort of want these low volume pairs like GN and stuff. They still make big moves, but they have low volume. So EU's just choppy the whole time, and you get over manipulation and news is all like affecting it every day. There's news on EU, so like it's tricky.
And you can see, also a lot of trades on a Friday which were valid. Late Friday, which means you can't take them. So you have to stick with your session when you backtest. Because obviously if you take this, it will make the results so much better. Like info, whatever. But that's going over the weekend. You seriously have to make
I
sure.
recommend taking trades and holding it over the weekend and add it to your backtesting results, because most prop firms don't even let you, first of all, hold over
Exactly.
the weekend, and second of all, you have to have swing accounts a lot of the time, and they have negatives with buying those accounts. And you can also, I don't know if you guys have seen JPY pairs recently, but those gaps that they have are crazy.